is redemptions are something that's coming up. So this is one, redemptions one. This is just for everyone in the back who I'm sure doesn't care about anything but the tech, but owns some loan token. Redemptions do pay out yield to the loan holders. So while we keep having this channel here that's up and to the right on USDL, this won't make too much of a difference. But when we start to see these things move the other ways, you start to see people say, hey, I'm just going to keep minting if you're going to keep giving me a premium. You'll see that price start to trend back down. And as we see redemptions take place, one, that yield goes out to loan holders. That's a plus. And again, it gives another opportunity here in the system where you can take advantage of the quality. So if you see 98, 97 cents on USDL. So like, again, if you kind of look before that channel there,
right here,
again, redemptions weren't on there, which is why you saw it kind of ebb and flow, but that would have been opportunities to go through it and take redemption. So when you redeem, basically you take whatever you purchased at USDL is irrelevant. You're able to go retrieve $1 worth of PLS. So you're able to take that and always redeem it. And that's what will help push that price back, right? Because if I can go buy some for 97 cents and take it over here and get my $1, I'm going to do it until I run out of stuff, right? You just keep going over and over and you'll see that R back. And this is something, you know, this happened like historically a lot with Bitcoin when it was inefficient. There were only a few exchanges. You know, this was something when it went between the US, there tended to be a premium on Japanese markets. And they used to call that the kimchi premium. Like it was a reference to that ARB event where people would take BTC and then move it over into Japanese and sell it on Japanese markets. So that redemption side of it, one, payout for loan holders, always cool. Another functioning game mechanic for, you know, users to kind of take advantage of and pull on levers. And then on redemptions, one of the things is they come from the lowest collateralized vault. So they'll go in there and they'll burn a USDL and pull that pulse out. So it essentially, that is different than a repayment on there. And this is something that we might add in the future. It's a statistic called debt in front. And so one of the things you can go through is if you don't want redemptions to hit your vault, where you'd rather stay, hey, I want my PLS exposure. One of the things you can do is look at that, how much is in front, to have an idea of, okay, what would it actually take for someone redeeming USDL to ever hit mine? And in general, it's relatively pretty high. And the reason is that user I was joking about earlier, maybe we can pull them up somewhere. I think it's like 4EF8, something along those lines, somewhere close. That cat's got a very, very large vault. And usually he's on the more aggressive side. He's between 115, 125. So essentially, as long as you're on the other side of that guy, you're really not going to get any redemptions anytime soon. You could go to liquidations, but you'll have to have your wallet connected there. Otherwise, it won't pull them up. That's one of the functions that you have to be connected to. Obviously, make sure you're.
Yeah, this is a false wallet, so it's all good.
So we'll look at a few of those things. And again, some of these tools we're also going to build external so that we have our nice, clean, pretty UI here. And then all the people who are just sitting here, you know, drinking Mountain Dew and Red Bull at 4 a.m., digging through this stuff, you want to sort out and find an edge, can take advantage of. But that's a big one. So if you're more of a normal user who's got a fairly higher collateral ratio, the redemptions really aren't going to affect you. But just so that people understand, it comes from that lowest collateralized vault. And one of the, again, that metric that we can probably add, and we may do it in several places, like debt in front. So you could even, again, if a massive wallet is at 118%, let me see.
This guy's got 500 mil. The 1.5 bill is at 114.
Right. There's one.
5.6 at 119.
There you go. So that's an example. There's another, I don't think that's him. Maybe I think there's a larger wallet. Maybe he's closer down now. Maybe he's moving around. He's kind of he's a smart player. He does a lot of interesting things.
Yeah. Probably shifting it around.
Yeah. So maybe that's him around that 5.
Oh, no.
But for example, if you want to scroll back to the top there, the guy that had around that big wallet at like number 4. Okay. So BE4F, that player there. All right. So you could be at, now again, he's going to move his vault around, but just for a static idea to kind of get the idea across. If you were on the other side of basically that guy, redemptions really are not going to affect you. It would take a pretty healthy amount of redemption to basically eat through and get past him. So if you're wanting to if you just have that concern of just, sometimes it's as simple as, hey, I'm just not 100% comfortable with that. I just don't want it to be in the play. That's an easy way to look through, and we'll work on making that.
Do you want to explain that process of redemptions, and then also with that kind of explain whether it's like static or dynamic yield to loan holders? Kind of wrap that all up into one quick for people.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It kind of takes some time to really work through like the function side of it. essentially, again, you can take USDL. So like right now, assuming they'll be on in roughly the next 36 hours. I can't remember the exact time now. But if you go through and look at the redemption side of it, like if you did it right now, you would be losing that premium because you're going to get $1 worth of Pulse. But if you went and bought the USDL, it'd be at that premium that we were discussing on the chart earlier. And then you could
swap that for Pulse.
Right. So essentially it's almost, again, a simple way to look at it. There's a secondary market where you can always basically sell USDL for $1 worth of Pulse. There's like a pegged almost LP there. So for outside users, most people probably honestly just need to know that it's there so that they kind of have the understanding of the function and so that they understand why USDL is a stable coin and why it has that merit and why it'll have those effects. But they're probably not actually going to use this lever all that often. It's going to be more likely larger players who are taking advantage of an ARB or kind of awkward events where there's other things going on. But people do want to understand how it works. And again, the simple side of just, hey, if I'm not basically in that handful of smaller vaults as far as collateral ratio, not size, but collateral ratio, you're really not going to be redeemed against either. But people do need to understand how it functions. But for most users, it's game theory. It's cool stuff to understand.
Yeah. So when you redeem Pulse, you're pulling from the conglomerate of vaults, is what you're saying. And then until that other feature goes online to like get put at the back of the line, your vault is always up for grabs, kind of.
Correct.
Gotcha.